Picture this. You do everything you were told to do. Right, study hard, get a degree, work long hours, stay loyal to your job, yet at the end of the month, your bank account still feels empty. Buying a home feels like a fantasy, and the future feels more stressful than exciting. This was never how the American dream was supposed to feel. For decades, that dream promised something simple but powerful. If you worked hard in America, you would move forward, not backward. But here we are in 2026, watching rent climb faster than salaries. Groceries cost more every month. Student loans follow people into their 30s and 40s. And even well-paid professionals quietly admit they're one layoff away from trouble. So the big question has to be asked out loud. Has the American dream finally died? Or are we just chasing a version of it that no longer exists? Because depending on who you ask, America today is either a land of broken promises or a land of endless opportunity. And the truth sits uncomfortably somewhere in between. The problem isn't that people have stopped working hard. The problem is that the rules of the game have changed, and most of us were never given the updated playbook. The American dream wasn't originally about luxury or becoming a millionaire. It was about stability, dignity, and progress, the belief that each generation could live better than the one before it. A steady job, a modest home, affordable education, and the confidence that effort would be rewarded over time. That promise shaped how people planned their lives for decades. But in 2026, many Americans feel like they're running on a treadmill that never slows down. You can be educated, skilled, and motivated, yet still feel stuck. And that frustration has sparked a dangerous idea that the dream is dead, and there's no point in trying anymore. In this video, we're not here to sell false hope or spread doom. We're here to tell the uncomfortable truth. We'll break down what has actually changed, why the old path no longer works for most people, and most importantly, whether the American dream is still possible if you're willing to redefine it. By the end of this video, you won't just have an opinion, you'll have clarity about where opportunity still exists in 2026 and what it really takes to reach it. What the American dream originally meant. For most of the 20th century, the American dream had a clear and almost universal meaning. It wasn't about becoming rich overnight or living a luxury lifestyle. It was about progress. If you worked hard, showed up consistently, and followed the rules, life would slowly get better. One stable job could support a family. A modest home was achievable. College education didn't bury people in debt for decades. Wages generally rose alongside productivity, and the idea of retiring with dignity felt realistic, not fictional. This dream shaped generations. Parents believed their children would live better than they did, and that belief gave people patience and hope. Even immigrants came to America believing that effort would be rewarded fairly. But that version of the dream was built in a very specific economic era: cheap housing, booming manufacturing, strong unions, and fewer global competitors. What many people forget is that this dream wasn't automatic. It was supported by policies, demographics, and timing that no longer exist in the same way. When we judge today's America using yesterday's standards, disappointment becomes inevitable. Understanding what the American dream was is important, because it explains why so many people today feel betrayed. They didn't imagine these expectations out of nowhere. They inherited them. And the pain comes from realizing that the map they were given no longer leads to the destination they were promised. In 2026, the lived reality for millions of Americans looks very different from the dream they were raised to believe in. Housing costs have surged far beyond wage growth, turning homeownership into a long-term goal instead of a milestone of adulthood. Rent consumes a massive portion of income, leaving little room to save. Education, once marketed as the guaranteed path to success, often comes with crushing debt and uncertain returns. Healthcare remains expensive and unpredictable, making financial stability feel fragile even for middle-class families. On top of that, job security has weakened. Layoffs are no longer rare events. They are expected cycles. Automation and artificial intelligence are reshaping entire industries, rewarding adaptability but punishing complacency. Many people aren't failing because they made bad choices. They're struggling because the system itself has become more volatile. Hard work still matters, but it no longer guarantees stability. That gap between effort and reward is what makes people question whether the dream still exists at all. The frustration isn't laziness or entitlement, it's exhaustion. People are doing more than ever and feeling like they're falling behind. This reality check is uncomfortable, but necessary, because pretending everything is fine only deepens the disconnect between expectation and truth. Is the American dream dead or just changed? Declaring the American dream dead might feel emotionally satisfying, but it's also misleading. A more accurate statement is that the dream has changed and many people are still chasing an outdated version of it. The old formula of one job, one income, one company, and guaranteed upward mobility no longer fits the modern economy. In 2026, careers are non-linear. People switch fields, stack skills, freelance, build side incomes, and work remotely across borders. Stability no longer comes from loyalty to a company. It comes from flexibility and relevance. The dream today isn't just about owning a house, it's about control over time, income, and choices. For some, success looks like digital businesses. For others, it's location freedom or financial independence without traditional retirement. The problem isn't that opportunity disappeared, it's that opportunity moved. And those who adapt see progress, while those waiting for the old system to return feel stuck. The American dream didn't vanish, it evolved. But evolution demands learning new rules, and many people were never taught how. Despite all the challenges, the American dream is still very real for certain groups, and that tells us something important. People who invest in high-value skills, especially in technology, healthcare, trades, and digital services, continue to see upward mobility. Entrepreneurs and small business owners who solve real problems still build wealth. Immigrants often outperform expectations because they arrive ready to adapt instead of relying on outdated promises. Financial literacy has become a dividing line. Those who understand credit, investing, taxes, and leverage move ahead faster than those who don't, regardless of income level. The modern dream rewards strategy over struggle. It favors people who think long-term, diversify income, and treat learning as a lifelong habit. This doesn't mean success is easy or guaranteed, but it is possible. The opportunity gap today isn't about effort alone. It's about information, mindset, and timing. In 2026, the American dream looks quieter, smarter, and more intentional. It's not always flashy. It might mean delaying homeownership but buying smarter. It might mean working remotely for a global company while living in a lower-cost area. It often includes multiple income streams instead of relying on one paycheck. Freedom has replaced status as the new currency. The modern dream values flexibility, resilience, and mental peace over appearances. People who redefine success on their own terms often feel less trapped and more empowered. This version of the dream doesn't reject hard work, it just applies it differently. It rewards those who understand the system instead of blindly trusting it. So, is the American dream still possible in 2026? The honest answer is yes, but not in the way it once was. Clinging to the old version can be dangerous because it creates false hope and delayed action. The dream today belongs to those who accept reality without becoming cynical, to those willing to unlearn, relearn, and adapt. America still offers opportunity, but it no longer hands it out evenly or automatically. The dream isn't dead, but it's no longer guaranteed. And that truth, while uncomfortable, is also empowering. Because once you understand the new rules, you stop waiting for permission to succeed and start building your own version of the dream. The American dream was never meant to be a promise handed to you at birth. It was meant to be a possibility you had to fight for. And in 2026, that fight looks different than it did for our parents or grandparents. The mistake many people make is waiting for the old system to come back, hoping that one day things will go back to normal. But this is the new normal. And once you accept that, something powerful happens. You stop feeling betrayed, and you start feeling responsible. Not in a blaming way, but in an empowering one. Because the truth is, the dream was never about a house, a job title, or a paycheck. It was about control over your life, the ability to choose, to grow, to move forward, even when the odds aren't perfect. Yes, the path is harder now. Yes, the costs are higher, and the risks are real. But opportunity still exists for those willing to adapt, learn, and think long-term. The American dream in 2026 doesn't reward blind loyalty or endless hustle. It rewards awareness, strategy, and courage. Courage to redefine success. Courage to walk away from broken promises. Courage to build something new, instead of mourning what's gone. So don't ask whether the American dream is dead. Ask yourself a better question. Are you willing to let go of the old dream to build a better one? Because the dream isn't waiting for permission from the economy, the government, or the past. It's waiting for people who are ready to take ownership of their future starting now.